Anybody who know 50 wasn't gonna be quiet. But when 50 was quiet, everybody was like, it's over for 50.
Fuck, post a picture of your motherfucking mama. She dead, nigga. Hey, respect, nigga. Stop fucking playing with my mama. Nigga ain't playing like that. Nigga ain't going like that, nigga.
But both of your responses
soliciting.
Yeah.
It's 8 billion people in the world. Everybody ain't got to like me. I ain't everybody cup of tea. You know what I mean? You know, I'm too strong for some. Might not be strong enough for others. It's fine. I'm cool with that.
Wait, so you telling me the reason that 50 Cent has been quiet on the whole T.I. beef is because he's sitting back and planning to do another documentary but this time on T.I. and his wife and their essay allegations that they've been fighting?
Things just got loud in the hip-hop world again. News started spreading that Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, might be working on a documentary focused on the long-running controversy surrounding T.Y. and Tamika Tiny Harris. And if you know anything about 50 Cent, you already know he doesn't step into situations quietly. He even joked online that people thought he wasn't serious before the documentary about Sean Diddy Combs dropped. Now he's hinting that another explosive project might be on the way. According to him, the questions surrounding T.I. and Tiny could start getting a lot more attention. If something like this really moves forward, the conversation around those old allegations could get messy fast. What's wild is that reactions online are all over the place. Some people believe the situation could shine light on stories that haven't been fully explored. Others think it's just another chapter in 50 Cent's long history of stirring the pot in the entertainment world. Either way, it's clear people are watching closely because the moment his name gets attached to a documentary, the internet starts buzzing.
Well, it's official. T.I. and Tiny have a huge problem on their hands. And I told y'all this was about to happen. But now, since 50 posted that he's doing the documentary, maybe you believe him. He just posted it this morning. But anybody in the loop knows that T.I. and Tiny have had several allegations of essay over the past years. And it's just been swept under the rug. So when T.I. made 1 million songs dogging 50 Cent and his son came out talking about dig his dead mama, you had to be a fool to think 50 wasn't going to expose what's already out there to people who are in the know. And it gets crazier. It's already been known that there are 30 women, at least, that have had allegations and this surviving T.I. and Tiny coming. After all my predictions that have come true, even when I said this, you had people saying, oh no, ain't no, that one case got dismissed. It's 30 people out there. You're talking about one case that T.I. and Tiny got dismissed because, for one, they allegedly paid the judge off. That was the rumor, but it was released.
The whole discussion ties back to allegations that first surfaced years ago. Reports claim that multiple women came forward accusing T.I. and Tiny of serious misconduct during encounters that allegedly happened between the mid-2000s and the late 2010s. Attorneys representing several of those women even pushed for authorities in different states to look into the claims. According to those filings, the accusations describe situations involving forced substances, intimidation, and other disturbing behavior connected to members of the couple's circle. However, it's important to remember that T.I. and Tiny have strongly denied all wrongdoing, and their legal team has repeatedly argued that the accusations were exaggerated attempts to pressure them legally. So right now, the situation sits in a complicated space. There are serious claims on one side, firm denials on the other, and now the possibility that 50 Cent might turn the entire saga into a documentary that puts everything back under the spotlight. And if that really happens, you can bet the conversation online is only going to get louder. The legal battle around T.I. and Tamika Tiny Harris didn't stop with rumors online. Their attorney, Steve Sato, quickly pushed back against the accusations, saying the couple completely rejects the claims. According to him, the allegations are baseless and unjustified, and he insisted that if authorities truly review everything, the investigation would not lead to charges. Sato also argued that the situation looked more like a pressure campaign than a real legal case.
I ain't gonna lie to you, T.I. better cut the rapping out and get a lawyer. And when I say get a lawyer, they might even have to sue 50. Let me tell you one of these allegations. So the whole thing is that T.I., he was bored of having Tiny, allegedly. That's what most of these lawsuits allege. But Tiny's cool. So Tiny would tell T.I., you could bring in a bitch, we fuck her together. Now, I don't know if that's true with them. That's very normal in the industry. Like, a lot of these chicks, especially the older they get, they start pumping out a couple kids. They realize if they're dating a star, it's hard to be the apple of his eye forever. They might have, like, unconditional love for you, but they want to stick dick in some pussy, from time to time. So they're claiming Tiny was giving T.I. threesomes and shit, and then they would just bring bitches in. One of the bitches they brought in, this is what's in the allegations, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not lying about this. They said one of these bitches that that they bring in for the threesomes, they would take their phone to send third. According to this is why I thought it was a little cap though, because they kind of had the Diddy script before Diddy. It was like, oh, they got us too drunk. They forced us to take cane. Anyway, they said when the kid starts, they said Tiny pins down one of the bitches, and T.I. This is the funny shit ever. They said T.I. don't even fuck the bitch. They said T.I. takes his fucking shoes out of his foot out of his shoes, takes his sock off, and sticks his big toe in her. Come on.
In his view, the claims started spreading on social media and were later pushed into the press in an attempt to damage the couple's reputation. From the defense side, the message was clear. They believed the entire situation was an attempt to shake them down financially. But on the other side of the story, attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn was urging law enforcement to look deeper. His letters reportedly asked officials to investigate both T.I., whose real name is Clifford Harris Jr., and Tiny Harris, the singer known from the R&B group Escape. According to Blackburn, several individuals had described disturbing experiences connected to the couple and people in their circle. Many of the people mentioned in those letters remained anonymous. Blackburn said that was because they feared retaliation, pointing to T.Y.'s powerful status in the entertainment industry and his past legal issues involving weapons charges. Even with those concerns, he claimed several of the women were willing to speak directly with investigators if authorities opened formal inquiries. The attorney said some of the alleged victims hoped to pursue criminal cases, but there was a major obstacle. The time limits for certain charges may have already expired. To push things forward, letters requesting investigations were reportedly sent to prosecutors in Georgia and California, including federal offices and local district attorneys. Some offices confirmed receiving the requests, while others declined to comment publicly. Among the individuals mentioned were a former military service member, a past assistant, a dancer, and even someone who once interned at T.I.'s recording studio and label, Grand Hustle. Several of them described situations where they believed they had been given substances without their knowledge before events unfolded that they later described as deeply traumatic. One former Air Force member said she met the couple at a Los Angeles nightclub back in 2005. She explained that she and a friend were invited into a VIP section where the pair were socializing. According to her account, after having drinks that night, both women suddenly felt extremely ill and disoriented within hours. The woman later said the experience left a lasting emotional impact on her life.
Everybody knows. Like, that's telling. That one bar that everybody knows is probably more telling than your mama eating all the box in Atlanta, because T.I. and them been saying, hey, we get freaky. Did what we do. We been right there. It was kind of freaky. But not freaky to the extent that when T.I. had them allegations that him and his wife then made some females feel uncomfortable. And come to find out, 50 is allegedly, possibly doing a documentary, 20 alleged fleshful assault cases. 20. You know, you see a lot of people saying, man, there 50 go, he coming after another black man. 50 only go at his people. People that say shit like that, you need to watch them motherfuckers. Because they sound like they can be compromised. Would you rather a white man tell you some shit that a black man doing? Would you rather an up-and-coming journalist from Iran to make a documentary about? You get what I'm saying? I don't give a damn about the messenger. I want to hear the message. If it's 20 assault.
However, it's important to note that T.I. has publicly stated that his past encounters were consensual, strongly rejecting any suggestion that wrongdoing took place. So while multiple stories have circulated over the years, the situation remains complicated, with serious allegations on one side, firm denials on the other, and ongoing debate about what actually happened behind the scenes. At the center of all this, T.I. has repeatedly denied the accusations. He has said clearly that he and Tamika, Tiny Harris, never forced anyone to take substances, never held anyone against their will, and never pressured anyone into situations they didn't agree to. From his perspective, the claims being shared online and in the media simply don't reflect what actually happened. For many people, that denial is just one part of a much bigger story. T.I., now in his 40s, has lived through one of the more complicated journeys in hip-hop. Early in his career, he faced several legal problems involving weapons and drugs, but later he tried to reshape his image. Over time, he stepped into roles as a community voice, an activist, and a respected veteran in the rap industry. Still, critics say that public reinvention doesn't erase questions from the past. And when conversations like this start heating up again, the internet quickly fills with speculation. Some observers believe T.I. has been trying to stay ahead of the situation by addressing drama before it grows larger. Others think the attention only increases when bigger names get involved in the conversation. That's where 50 Cent enters the picture again. The rapper has built a reputation for approaching conflicts strategically, almost like a chess match. Many fans say he moves carefully, studying situations and waiting for the right moment before stepping in. When he attaches himself to a story or documentary idea, it usually means he believes the topic will spark massive public attention.
50 Cent just dissed T.I. on the Power Origin theme song, and it wasn't a full song, but it was a direct hit. Now, if you didn't catch it, he said that your daddy made your mama eat every box in Atlanta. The reason why that's important is because allegedly, Tiny and T.I. were going around having three-ways, but they were on some Diddy-ish. And apparently 50 Cent says he knows, everybody knows, on the low, high key, which makes this worse because every time an episode plays a Power Origins, you're gonna hear this. And it's also kind of dissing the whole family. Crazy.
And if a documentary ever does happen, the reason people think it could shake things up is simple: storytelling. Instead of short headlines or social media posts, a documentary format would allow individuals to explain their experiences in detail. People could walk through their timelines, describe how they met the celebrities involved, and explain how events unfolded from their point of view. That kind of storytelling can have a powerful effect. Hearing someone describe a moment from start to finish, where they were, who they were with, and what they say happened that night, often hits audiences much harder than a quick headline online. Supporters of the documentary idea say it could finally give faces and voices to stories that have mostly existed as anonymous claims and articles. Critics, however, worry that a project like that could also shape public opinion before all facts are fully proven. Either way, the real impact would likely come from emotion. When people share difficult experiences publicly, especially if those stories involve fear, confusion, or lasting trauma, viewers tend to react strongly. A single interview can shift how thousands of people see a situation overnight. But it's also important to remember that these are still allegations, not proven conclusions. T.I. and Tiny have continued to deny wrongdoing, and their legal team insists that the claims are exaggerated or completely false. Until courts or investigators reach final decisions, the situation remains a debate playing out in public opinion as much as in legal spaces. So the big question floating around right now is simple. If a documentary actually moves forward and more voices step into the spotlight, will it change how people view this entire controversy? Or will it just add another dramatic chapter to a story that has already been debated for years? One of the accounts described a moment where two young women said they were chasing big dreams before the night that changed everything. According to the story, one of them was studying to become a nurse while the other hoped to become a doctor someday. They believed they had a future ahead of them and wanted to succeed as strong women building careers in the medical field. That evening, they said they were working at a nightclub when T.I. and Tamika Tiny Harris arrived. In the account being shared, the woman described T.I. as distant, while Tiny appeared friendly and talkative. At first, she said she didn't think much of it because celebrities visiting clubs isn't unusual, and sometimes conversations like that can lead to better tips for performers working that night. According to her version of events, the couple later asked if she would come speak with them privately. She said she believed it might simply be a normal conversation with well-known guests. In environments like nightlife, workers often interact with celebrities, so she assumed it was just part of the job. The story then claims she was offered a drink. After some time passed, she said she began feeling unusually dizzy and disoriented.
Now, this lady was actually a veteran, Air Force veteran. She was stationed in LA. She was out. She says Tiny gave her a few drinks. And shortly after that, she accompanied the couple to a hotel with two other unknown women. Now, the drink made her dizzy. And next thing she says, that T.I. and Tiny S.A.'d her while she was dizzy and lightheaded. Now, the case was actually dismissed, but it was only dismissed for what they say was lack of timing and possible statute of limitations. But that don't have anything to do with public perception and right and wrong. If 50 Cent does to T.I. and Tiny what he did to Diddy with that documentary, not only can that tear up T.I.'s brand, but it also can make more possible victims come forward if there are any. This is a crazy situation, and I don't like it. What if I told you?
In her account, she explained that she had to sit down because the feeling became overwhelming. She described people around her trying to comfort her, but she also said she felt confused and unable to fully understand what was happening. Later, she said she was told she would be taken somewhere safe so she could recover. According to her story, she believed they were helping her get medical attention because she felt extremely ill. However, She claims the situation later moved to a hotel room where events unfolded that she described as deeply traumatic. These are the kinds of stories that some observers believe could become the center of a future documentary if the project that 50 Cent has hinted at ever moves forward. The idea is that individuals would sit down and explain their experiences in their own words, allowing viewers to hear the full timeline rather than just reading short headlines online. Some commentators believe that if several people came forward with detailed stories, public attention would grow quickly. Others argue that telling personal stories publicly doesn't automatically prove wrongdoing, and they say viewers should be careful not to jump to conclusions before any legal findings are made. That's what makes this entire situation so intense. On one side are people sharing personal accounts of what they say happened years ago. On the other side, T.I. and Tiny continue to strongly deny the accusations and insist their interactions with others were consensual. If more voices eventually step forward, the public debate could become even louder. But until courts or investigators reach clear outcomes, the conversation will likely remain a mix of allegations, denials, and speculation playing out in front of millions of viewers online. When you look at the bigger picture, a lot of people online keep pointing to one thing. Whenever 50 Cent gets involved in a situation, things rarely stay quiet. The rapper has built a reputation over the years for being extremely strategic when dealing with rivals or controversies. Once his attention locks onto something, he usually keeps pushing the conversation forward until the entire internet is talking about it.
But both
I'm
of your
not out here
responses,
soliciting.
Yeah.
It's 8 billion people in the world. Everybody ain't got to like me. I ain't everybody cup of tea. I mean, I'm too strong for some. Might not be strong enough for others. It's fine. I'm cool with that. Nigga, just don't disrespect me, man. I'm real big on treating other people the way I want to be treated. And I'm also real big on treating motherfuckers the way they decide they gonna treat me. I have a very full life. I mean, I'm wealthy enough. I don't chase numbers. I live a life that I am happy with. I ain't chasing nobody else's success. God has blessed me. As a man, if you don't like what I said, then you shouldn't have handled it that way. And ultimately, all of the quietness that we're witnessing right now from dude, what would have happened if that quietness was practiced at the beginning?
Fans who followed hip-hop for years remember how intense some of his past rivalries were. Back in the day, his feuds with artists like Ja Rule and Jadakiss turned into some of the most talked about moments in rap culture. And during that era, 50 Cent's dominance in music was undeniable. His album, The Massacre, reportedly moved over 1 million copies within just a few days of release, which shows just how massive his influence was at the time. Because of that history, some fans believe when 50 Cent attaches himself to a story, especially one involving another major celebrity, it can quickly bring a lot of attention back to the issue. That's why people are watching closely to see whether the rumored documentary about T.Y. and Tameka Tiny Harris actually becomes a real project. Now here's the important part. Opinions on this situation are completely divided. Some people believe the allegations should be examined carefully so every voice involved has a chance to be heard. Others feel the accusations might not reflect the full story and argue that conclusions shouldn't be made without clear proof. From a commentary perspective, the smartest move for anyone facing accusations like this is transparency. If someone believes they are being falsely accused, sharing timelines, messages, or other records can sometimes help clarify events. At the same time, these situations can be extremely complicated, especially when claims go back many years and involve multiple people telling different versions of what happened.
Anybody who know 50 wasn't gonna be quiet. But when 50 was quiet, everybody was like, it's over for 50. He quiet. First 50 said he dropping a documentary about T.I. and Tiny. Post that on his Instagram, delete it. And everybody like, yo, 50 is scared. But if you read that caption under it, he said new music coming. So he dropped new music. And 50 just dropped some shit that's gonna stick. Let me explain. I hear people saying those bars wasn't up to par. I hear people saying that T.I. song, King song, and Little T.I. song was better than 50 shit that he dropped. But here's the thing though. That's a new Power Origins theme song, which would mean anytime that show get played, let me say that to you again. Anytime that show gets played, you gonna hear about T.I. and Tiny.
That's why many observers say the public should stay cautious before jumping to final judgments. Allegations, interviews, and documentaries can all shape public opinion, but legal conclusions are what ultimately determine the truth in situations like this. One thing is certain though, the conversation around this controversy isn't fading anytime soon. Between old allegations resurfacing, debates across social media, and the possibility of a major documentary exploring the story, the topic continues to keep the hip-hop community talking. And if something new does come out, whether it's interviews, new evidence, or even a full documentary, it could completely shift how people view this entire situation. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about everything surrounding this story? Do you believe the situation will get bigger if that documentary actually releases? Or do you think the debate will eventually cool down? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, share it with someone who follows hip-hop culture, and subscribe for more deep dives into celebrity drama and industry stories. And before you go, check out the next video appearing on your screen right now. It dives into another wild celebrity situation you definitely don't want to miss. I'll see you over there.